So let's talk about the first of the two and only two outings Timothy Dalton did as 007, starting with The Living Daylights. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents the summer of 007. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to as the Big D. So I'm going to be bringing to you another James Bond review. If you have not seen my reviews of the other movies in the Sean Connery ranking, I advise you to click on that card coming up right about now. There we go. And I'll give you just a few seconds to do that. Okay, sorry, that took me a little longer than I thought. So now let's go to The Living Daylights from 1987, directed by John Glenn. This would be his next to last Bond film he would direct, after he had recently directed the last three movies. Anyway, and this is the first film to star Timothy Dalton as 007 himself. The film's title is taken from Ian Fleming's short story of the same name, where the plot of which also forms the basis of the first act in the film. And it was the last film to use the title of an Ian Fleming story until 2006 with Casino Royale. This would also be the last James Bond flick to get a PG rating. From afterwards, it was PG-13 all the way. So now let's get into the story. James Bond is assigned to help KGB General Georgy Kuskov defect, covering his escape from a concert hall in Bratislava, Czechoslovakia. During the mission, Bond notices that a KGB sniper is a female cellist from the orchestra. Disobeying his orders to kill the sniper, he shoots the rifle from her hands, then uses the Trans-Siberian pipeline to smuggle Kuskov across the border to the west. In his post-defection debriefing, Kuskov informs MI6 that the KGB's old policy of Smirtspionum, meaning death to spies, has been revived by General Leonid Pushkin, the new head of the KGB. Kuskov is later abducted from the safe house and assumed to have been taken back to Moscow. Bond is directed to track down Pushkin in Tangier and kill him, to forestall further killings of agents and escalation of tensions between the Soviet Union and the West. Bond agrees to carry out the mission when he learns that the assassin who killed 004, as depicted in the pre-title sequence, left a note bearing the same message, which I'll just give it its regular meaning, death to spies, and not the way it was said, okay? Bond returns to Bratislava to track down the cellist, Kara Milovi. He finds out that Kuskov's entire defection was staged, and that Kara is actually Kuskov's girlfriend. Bond convinces Kara that he is a friend of Kuskov's and persuades her to accompany him to Vienna, supposedly to be reunited with him. They escape Bratislava while being pursued by the KGB, crossing over the border into Austria. Meanwhile, Pushkin meets with an arms dealer, Brad Whitaker, in Tangier, informing him that the KGB is canceling an arms deal previously arranged between Kuskov and Whitaker. During his brief tryst with Milovi in Vienna, Bond visits the Prater to meet his MI6 ally Saunders, who discovers a history of financial dealings between Kuskov and Whitaker. As he leaves their meeting, Saunders is killed by Kuskov's henchman Necros, who again leaves the message, you guessed it, death to spies. Bond and Kara promptly leave for Tangier, where Bond confronts Pushkin, who disavows any knowledge of that phrase and reveals that Kuskov is evading arrest for embezzlement of government funds. Bond and Pushkin then join forces and Bond fakes Pushkin's assassination, inducing Whitaker and Koskov to progress with their scheme. Meanwhile, Kara contacts Koskov, who tells her that Bond is actually a KGB agent and convinces her to drug him so that he can be captured. Koskov, Necros, Kara, and the captive Bond fly to a Soviet base, well, air base, in Afghanistan, where Koskov betrays Kara and imprisons her along with Bond. The pair escape and in doing so free a condemned prisoner, Cameron Shah, leader of the local Mujahideen. Bond and Malawi discover that Koskov is using Soviet funds to buy a massive shipment of opium from the Mujahideen, intending to keep the profits with enough left over to supply the Soviets with their arms and buy Western arms from liquor. Now it's the ending, you know what to do. 5 cents top, go to the description box below, fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, continue on. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. With the Mujahideen's help, there I actually got it right because this is my. Yeah, because. Don't worry, what happened. Sorry. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Bond plants a bomb aboard the cargo plane carrying the opium, but is spotted and has no choice but to barricade himself in the plane. Meanwhile, the Mujahideen attack the airbase on horseback and engage the Soviets in a gun battle. During the battle, Kara drives a jeep into the cargo and hold off the plane as Bond takes off. And Necros also leaps aboard at the last second. After a struggle, Bond throws Necros to his death and deactivates the bomb. But then he notices that Shah and his men are being pursued by Soviet forces. He reactivates the bomb and drops it out of the plane and onto a bridge, blowing it up and helping Shah and his men escape the Soviets. The plane subsequently crashes, destroying the drugs while Bond and Kara escape. Bond returns to Tangier to kill Whitaker, infiltrating his estate with the help of his ally Felix Leiter, and Pushkin arrests Koskov, ordering him to be executed before sending him back to Moscow. Sometime later, Kara is the solo cellist in a Vienna performance. Cameron Shaw and his men jostle in during the intermission and are introduced to now diplomat General Gogol and the Soviets. After a performance, Bond surprises Kara in her dressing room and they embrace. End of story. So what did I think of The Living Daylights? Well, I'm going to say it's an underrated movie. It isn't too bad, you know. The film got mixed reviews since it came out. And, well, some have praised Mr. Dalton's performance, but some did criticize the runtime of the movie, with it being 131 minutes. I know the direction by John Glenn has the colorful but perfunctory style that goes with the territory, and it's adequate if uninspired, says one person. But anyway, but even so, it's got a pretty good story, and a reasonable direction. And the cast includes Timothy Dalton. Aside from him, we have Miriam Diabo as Kara, Joe Don Baker as Whitaker, Art Malik as Shah, John Rhys Davies as Pushkin, Jerome Krebet as Koskov, Andreas Wisniewski as Necros, Thomas Wheatley as Saunders. Plus, we have back with us Desmond Llewellyn as Q, Robert Brown as M, and Carolyn Bliss as Miss Maypay. Anyway, we have John Barry back on board to do the score, like he's composed lots of Bond film soundtracks. And also, the theme song to this was performed by the band Aha, which a lot of you people know them best from the song Take On Me. Anyway, nevertheless, the film did pretty well despite the mixed reviews. It went on to make $191 million worldwide. Anyway, so with all that said, would I recommend The Living Daylights? Sure, go ahead, yes. Well, as long as you're a completionist, and if you are, I'd say give it a one-time watch, and if you're not satisfied, then don't bother with it anymore. Just as long as you want to see more Bond. James Bond, of course. It still has some pretty good action moments and what have you. Cast isn't too bad, but hey, you don't have to take my word for it. That's just all I'm saying. So anyway, that'll do it. So what are your thoughts on The Living Daylights? Please tell me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And join me next time when I bring to you the only other film Timothy Dalton did as 007, and that being License to Kill. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to check out some of these other films I've reviewed. In the upper left-hand corner is the spoiler-free review I did for Black Widow. The upper right-hand corner is the spoiler-free review I did for Gunpowder Milkshake, now streaming on Netflix. Or if you want another kind of film that has a little bit of a spy feel to it, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.